Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Net podcast number 1566. And as you can see, we have Nicole back with us today, and we have got a super exciting topic to talk about tonight. But first, Nicole, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Helen, for having me tonight.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's always fun. Definitely always fun.
Absolutely. And tonight we have a fun topic. Tonight we're talking about holiday preparations because, next week is Thanksgiving. I'm like looking at the calendar going, how can it already be Thanksgiving? I thought we just started November.
Exactly.
So we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and then there's all the end of the year holiday parties and end of year celebrations and end of year blah, 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 blah. And then you got Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and whatever else is thrown in there.
All of the above.
Yeah, all of the above and plus.
It is definitely holiday season kicks off next week.
Yep. And then you got people going and visiting relatives and friends and staying over. And some of them are going to go, oh, what am I going to do with the holidays here? I'm just going to relax and just eat whatever I want to eat. And
yeah.
That's going to be your
do. So, yeah, I've already had clients are like asking me about food and what they do over the holidays. And so I actually made kind of like a list to talk about tonight, because when we talked about holiday prepping or holiday, like preparing for the holiday, and I was like, well, what exactly does that mean in the health world? And I think that means like there can be a lot of different factors that means. So I went and got my nails done because I took some me time today.
Yay.
And I went and got my nails done, and I wrote a list while I was there because I was like, oh, I need to go home and do Helen's podcast. So, and I started writing, and I was like, oh, well, there's so many things that we could talk about. So do you want me just to hop in, or is there something in particular?
Let's dive on in.
The first thing I want everybody to remember is to keep yourself hydrated, no matter where you live, even when it's cold outside, So I just got back from Nebraska, and it was a little brisk, cool, whatever you want to call it. Definitely had to wear a jacket during the day.
Was there any white stuff on the ground?
What?
Was there any white stuff on the ground?
There was not any white stuff on the ground, but it was definitely the week before they had white stuff and it melted. So I think they're going to have a cold winter this year. So they didn't have white stuff, but it was cold. And so definitely, I had my little bubble jacket on, because they're lightweight and they kind of adapt to your body. But I found myself even guilty when I was there of not drinking as much water, because when you're cold, you don't necessarily want to drink as much, but it's super, super important, especially in cold weather, and especially when it starts cooling down, and especially during stressful times, that we hydrate, hydrate. Don't stop drinking your water just because it's the holiday season. Now's the time to actually drink more.
Probably swapping it for eggnog.
Right. And if you're flying, because a lot of people travel during the holidays, it's super important when you're on a plane, don't drink those sugary drinks or coffee or tea, anything with caffeine. Drink water when you're on a plane. And definitely you'll feel better. You won't have jet lag. Your skin will look better. You won't be as tired no matter which way you're going. And so drinking water on flights is super important as well. So pass up the alcohol. I know it's tempting with the minibar, but pass it up until you land, and then enjoy your libations, right? The next thing I wrote down was plan ahead. And I think this is super important for a lot of reasons. So it is hectic, and we are doing things that we normally don't do. And we're adding a lot of things to our to-do list, whether it's going to see family and friends, going to an extra party, going to a party on a work night, going to work parties, maybe going to parties where you don't want to be around people. Maybe you're feeling
2 to 3 parties a day.
Maybe an excessive amount of parties. Maybe you feel depressed and you don't want to go to parties. Maybe the holiday time is a very difficult time for you. There's so many different things that go on. Emotions are flowing during the holidays. Emotions are definitely flowing. So you guys, these are our mini computers, right? And so definitely in here, we have a calendar. And let me tell you, start putting things in your calendar now, because it's super easy. Number one is to forget about something, a commitment that you've made. It's super easy to plan too much where you just, you tell Mary Jo that you're going to stop by her, for her little open house, but then you told, your cousin Joe that you're going to go have dinner with them. And then the next thing you know, there's not enough time, or you didn't plan, even if you're supposed to be bringing something. So make those notes, you guys, in your phone. Like literally, there's a place, no matter what phone you have. I prefer an iPhone, but those other users make notes in your phone. Like, I need to bring a dish for, or I need to bake cookies for, whatever it is, keep yourself organized. And the other thing is communicate your commitments.
Yes.
And I think that's really a big thing is, especially if you have spouses, or you have a lot of family, or you have, whatever it is, you need to communicate your commitments and not expect your husband to know that you're going to, your cousin Lorella's for a Christmas party, and him be, oh, wait, well, I had already planned on doing something else. So you definitely want to communicate your commitments. And that's with your coworkers, your husband or wife, your spouse, your partner, girlfriend, your dogs, whatever it is, whoever you need to communicate with. You need to communicate and let them know this is how the next 5 weeks are going to look. And so
even doing something like a paper calendar, like those month calendars that you can stick on the refrigerator, stick on a wall,
it's a perfect
and
time
have everybody put their stuff on there.
It's a perfect time to do that. There's also family apps. Like Sam and I use a family app to put in different, like, we know green means financial, blue means, like we're, commitments out. Like, so we have color-coded family calendar. So there's a lot of apps like that out there, and paper calendars are great. This is a great time to use a paper calendar. And you guys, you don't have to go out and buy a calendar that, if you don't have one, that expires in December 31st of 2023. You can simply go online on Microsoft Word or Docs or whatever.
You don't even have to do that. Just Google printable calendars.
Printable calendar.
I do this every 4 months.
There you go.
And I've got that. And all this actually has on it is my show numbers to make sure I keep in track with them and who my guests are going to be.
And then you can print one for just the month. You don't even have to, Helen has one for 4 months. You can print one for November. You can print one for December. And so definitely communicate your commitments, because there's nothing worse than somebody in your family or your friends or your spouse getting frustrated with you because you didn't communicate what was going on, right? And of course, you know me, I'm going to talk about food. If I didn't talk about food, you guys would go, oh my goodness, what's going on with Nicole? So here's the thing. During the holiday season, we're going to go for progress over perfection, right? There are going to be times that we are going to splurge. There are going to be times that we're going to go to somebody's house and they're going to have things that maybe we don't normally eat. You might, there's all kinds of
those Belgium and Swiss chocolates.
There you go. There's a lot of chocolate. During the holidays, you're going to see a lot of desserts, cookies, pies,
charcuterie
boards, alcohol. People are celebrating. So they're bringing out all these things. So the first thing is eat mindfully, right? Pick and choose. So, for me, I love a great charcuterie board. I love picking. I love noshing and snacking. I am a snacker all day long. So a charcuterie board to me is like, oh, this is amazing. And so it's like the angels came down and the lights go on and oh, there's a charcuterie board. So now I've learned to eat the things that serve my body well. So let's be honest, cheese is not my friend, right? A lot of people can't eat dairy. And of course, there's always cheese on a charcuterie board, right?
And if they have goat cheese, that's different to dairy cheese.
For some people, not all people, but for some.
I find I work better with goat cheese than I do with dairy cheese.
But be mindful of what you eat. So on a charcuterie board, I can eat the meats. I can eat any kind of pickles or olives or, if they do have a goat cheese, I can eat goat cheese. But eat the things that fuel your body and don't make you feel terrible. So don't eat something that doesn't make you feel good just because it's on a plate.
And it tastes really good.
Exactly.
That's the hard part, when you see something there that you really enjoy the flavor of it, but it's not going to do your body any good.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a thing that you really, but like I said, kind of, you need to prepare for the holidays. And I think if you prepare your mindset for this, I think it's all about holidays is really about mindset and taking care of your time and taking care of yourself. Thinking of others, of course, during the whole spirit of the holiday, but it's super important that you take care of yourself. And I think that this is the biggest thing that people forget during the holidays is you still have to take care of you, especially if you are that person that is your family glue. If you're that person in your family who's planning all the family activities, who has the kids or the grandkids or, planning the festivities, you still need to take time out for you. And so that's super important. But let's go back to food for just a minute. Because I have a couple of things on the food. We'll check the food off in a minute. So while you're not at these holiday get-togethers and parties, it's super important that you prepare nutrient-dense food during the rest of the time, because we're not going to parties every night. We're not going to, well, some people might, but there's going to be times that you aren't at that party or you're having just a regular night. So tonight I'm making pork chops and green beans. It doesn't get much wholesome than that, and some spaghetti squash. So when you're not at these parties or you're not at a get together, make sure to eat some nutrient dense food. It's balance, right? So we want to eat really good things, when we can, so we can have some of those indulgences at our get togethers. So
what if you are the hostess of the party?
Wow.
And you're catering to regular people who eat regular things. And
I love this because, Helen knows that I eat a very clean diet. Like
yes.
My diet consists of meat, veggies, fruit, nuts, some legumes, and a little bit of maybe quinoa once in a while for me. So I am gluten and dairy free. And so what do you do when you're the hostess like that? Well, for Halloween, I had a Halloween party for my neighbors and we all dressed up, and I made, instead of a charcuterie board, I made a chili board.
A chili board.
I got a 4-foot shelf at Home Depot, washed it all, made sure it was all clean before I started putting food on it. And I had a soup tureen filled with chili. I had things that I didn't necessarily eat. So I was like, okay, what do people eat with chili? Right? So I had cornbread and corn chips, and I put I eat those jalapenos and onions. I put a lot of cheese on there. So lots and lots of cheese. Now, I don't eat cheese, but it doesn't mean that everybody else in the family, friends don't eat cheese. There was cheese on there. There was sour cream on there. I had macaroni. So if they wanted to add macaroni to their chili, they could do more of a chili mac. My family just came home. If you just saw that, my dog and my husband. And so I had all kinds of things on tater tots. So I thought about, a lot of people like chili over French fries. I didn't want to make French fries, so I made some tater tots. So there were a lot of things on that board that I personally wouldn't have eaten. But let me tell you, I put, cilantro and onions and the things that I would eat on there as well. I just knew that my guests would enjoy the things that I made. So, but it didn't mean that I had to eat all of them, because I know what works for my body and what doesn't. So if you're hosting, you can certainly make things, like I could have made things super healthy for everybody, but I also wanted them to enjoy and have their comfort foods as well. So just keep a mix of things. Also, if you're going to a potluck and you're a person like me, oh my goodness, I will bring something super healthy. And
at a potluck, I take something I know I can eat. So at least when I'm there, I know I've got something there I can eat.
Exactly. Because there might be, if you're one of those people like me that doesn't eat dairy and that doesn't eat, gluten. I love my family in Nebraska, you guys, but when I go to Nebraska, they are all about the casserole. This is the time of year that there is one dish casseroles for everything. Well, I can guarantee you that those casseroles have some kind of dairy in them and some kind of wheat in them, right? Or some kind of corn in them. And so, of course, I'm not going to ask anybody to go out of their way for me. And so I eat, whatever they have. But I also know that when I'm contributing, I'll bring a salad, or I will bring, and it doesn't have to just be a garden salad, you guys. There's a lot of healthy recipes out there. But I'll bring something that I know that I feel and that I can eat. And so, just bring, if you're going to a potluck, and here's the funny thing, bring a fruit salad, just mixed fruit. And it is amazing. Everybody eats mixed fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it doesn't look like you're just bringing like a salad, and so, but people love fresh fruit, and they'll eat a dessert, and you'll see them eating some fruit as well. Right. So bring food that, bring your own dish, right? Bring, do that. Now, here's another thing about food. This is especially important on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. A lot of us eat dinner early on Thanksgiving. A lot of people have dinner at 2 or 3 in the afternoons. It's a big football day. Families are watching football. They're hanging out with each other, and they eat dinner early in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't skip breakfast.
Yeah.
Don't skip meals. Because when we skip meals, then we really seem to want to gorge ourselves. And that's when we don't feel well afterwards. You're already going to get a little sleepy after you eat turkey anyways. Everybody knows that. So with the chemicals.
Only if you eat the dark meat, though.
What?
Only if you eat the dark meat will you get the sleepy thing.
There you go. I like the white meat. I like
the white meat too.
I like all the turkey. But, oftentimes you do get a little sleepy after you've eaten a big meal. So make sure that you eat some breakfast. When I'm prepping Thanksgiving dinner, it's so easy to like nibble on things. So I will cut some fresh carrots or some cucumbers or some celery, or have some nuts, because I do eat nuts. So I'll have something that's a little healthier while I'm preparing my food. So that way I can enjoy having a little, like I said, splurging a little. So, so definitely do that. The other thing is, choose drinks wisely.
Yes.
So you guys can still drink water. You can still drink kombucha. For those of you who don't drink alcohol and want something fizzy, you can drink something. Kombucha is a great substitute. And if you're drinking alcohol, just choose your drinks wisely and don't overdrink, because overdrink, you just won't feel well the next day. And if you're drinking, just if you're drinking, please call Uber or have somebody drive you. There's so many accidents that happen during the holiday season. And so, if you're at a holiday party, you've had a few drinks, Uber and Lyft, and there's other ones out in bigger cities, use those services when you go out to parties and you're going to have some alcohol, because we don't need any more accidents. We don't need to lose a loved one, especially during the holiday time. So let's see what other
thing we'll go back to the water thing is, if I'm having people over, they know I'm a dry house.
There you go.
And so if they want to drink, they have to bring their own, but they have to designate the driver, whoever the driver designation is going to be, and then they'll let drink. But what I do with the water is I will have jugs full of water with things like slices of cucumber, some fresh mint leaves in there in one, and do like strawberries and oranges in another, and just put fresh sliced up fruit into the water to infuse it, so it's not plain water, because people don't like that. And then I have some essential oils that I can drop in there, like lemon oil. That's great in the water.
Exactly. The other thing is, don't eat until you're satisfied. Don't eat until you're stuffed.
Yep. Dine, not eat. Dine.
Yes. So, when you're here, stop eating, not when you're here, because, we eat and eat because it's so good. But here's the thing. There's always leftovers, you guys. There's always leftovers. You can always enjoy them in an hour or two or the next day. So just eat until you're satisfied, not until you're stuffed. And then a big one that I wrote down is visit people, not the food.
Oh, I like that one. I'm writing that one down.
Yeah, visit people, not the food. Even though you're going to, the hostess is hosting a party, you're really going there to see the people who are having the party, or the people who are going to be attending the party, or the work party, or family, or whoever it might be. You're going to visit the people. You're really not going to, that the food is secondary. So remember that you're really there to be with the people who cared enough or loved you enough or tortured you enough to invite you to
I remember at a party one time, and I was talking with one person there. Their sole reason for being there was, but they said, "Oh, we don't normally go to parties, but we always come to this one." I said, "Oh, you must really like the people that are here." They go, "No, they just have really good food."
Yeah, sometimes you do go for the food, but you know, for the most part, you go for the people.
Yeah, who's there? They're just there for the buffet because they know it's really, really good buffet.
And another biggie is if you do indulge, if you do eat one too many cookies, or you eat an extra piece of pie, or you have some whipped cream, or you have some alcohol, or you do all of the above, right? Don't feel guilty.
Yes.
There's no sense of beating yourself up. You're making a conscious choice going, you know what? I'm going to eat that darn cookie, or I'm going to have that piece of pie. You've made the choice. Here's the thing. You got to live with it. And so tomorrow's a new day. And so, you know, everybody on New Year's Eve has that New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. So remember, just don't feel guilty. If you do it, just do it. Now, I don't have a bottle in front of me, and I wish I did. There are people like me that are sensitive to food, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that if they eat gluten, they don't feel good, or if they eat something that, you know, that cheese that just doesn't make their tummy feel good. I'm going to put a plug in. I don't usually do this on your show, so I'm just going to do it. And I did not ask for permission. I'm going to ask you for forgiveness later. You can actually go to gethealthy.shop. And I carry a product called Bind, B-I-N-D. And Bind is a lifesaver. So it does have activated charcoal in it. It has a few other products in it. So I always carry a few of these in my purse, and they're really there to pull out toxins out of your body. But if you do eat something that doesn't agree with you, if you take 2 of those, your stomach will settle down. If you happen to drink a little too much at a holiday party, if you take 2 of those instead of an aspirin before you go to bed, I guarantee you will not feel crappy the next day, right? There will be no hangover. There will be no headaches. For me, I love a good glass of wine. I went out, my girlfriend's here from Chicago right now. So we went and we had dinner, my husband and Deanna and I, and I had a glass of wine. And within minutes, I had a headache. Certain wines have a lot of sulfites in them, and the sulfites gave me a headache. So when I went home, I took 2 of the Bind. My headache went away within 15 minutes. So there you go. There's a little simple trick that you can use is activated charcoal type product, but there's an easy website. You can go to gethealthy.shop.
I've actually just put the link directly to Bind in there.
There you go. And right there. All right. Couple other things I have on my list. We have a few more minutes. Can I keep going?
Sure.
All right. Another big one. Prioritize sleep.
I'm sorry, what was that one?
Prioritize sleep.
Yes.
So as busy as we are and as many things as we can stack into the holiday season, you guys, if you have to schedule your sleep, then schedule your sleep. But make sure that you are getting enough sleep, because there's nothing worse than getting sick during the holiday season.
Yes.
And if you are sleep deprived and you're not, and you do that 2, 3, 4 times in a row, the next thing that's going to follow is cold, flu, whatever is in the air. It's almost a guarantee or cranky. You don't want to be cranky, and you don't want to be irritable, and you certainly don't want a cold or a flu during the holiday season.
Absolutely not.
So definitely prioritize your sleep and make sure that you're sleeping dark, cool, wherever you feel comfortable. Make sure you have nice linens on your bed. Whatever it is that you need to do to get a good night's sleep, you need to make sure that's a priority during the holidays. And take time to distress. So I went and got a pedicure today. A lot of women go out and they do their nails. They do their toes during the holidays. They, get glammed up. They get their hair done. Men need to do those things too. Take some time out. Go get a massage. Schedule yourself in a time to go golfing. Communicate with your spouse if that's what you're going to go do, because the holidays are busy, and don't plan on going to play golf. And your wife says, "Oh, wait, we have to be at Aunt Margaret's at noon," and you're on the you're on the golf course. So make sure it goes back to communicate your commitments. But men, I really that are listening, women are better at taking the time out for themselves sometimes and doing those special things during the holidays. Like I said, getting their hair done, getting their nails done, doing those special things. But men don't always take those time out for themselves. They're working, and then often doing the things that their spouse or their partners want them to do, or family members are pulling at them. So make time to de-stress, watch a good movie, maybe watch some Christmas movies, do some things to relax. Whatever it is, holiday movies, could be a Kwanzaa movie, do those kind of things.
Holiday movies are my favorite. Starting December 1st, I actually have a list of holiday movies, and I do a different one each night.
I love that.
November is my James Bond month, and we're doing movies all this month on with a James Bond. Like tonight is what's tonight's one? Jeepers, I've totally forgotten what tonight's one is. Hang on, I have to go to my list. I have to go to my chat. A View to a Kill. It's the last Roger Moore movie.
There you go.
And December 1st, I start holiday movies, and I've got a list of there are certain movies that I feel like I have to watch in order to get into the holiday spirit.
There you go.
And so I have my thing, and then I add in different ones. But I also just put into the chat as well, into the comments there, 100% drug and supplement free sleep patches to help people get a good night's sleep.
Awesome. Yes. And then the other thing is, during the holiday season, we don't want to get those colds. We don't want to get flus. We don't want to get sick. One of the best things you can do to bump up your immune system is to take your vitamin D3, as long as you're not on blood thinners. If you're on blood thinners, you can't take the D3. You just need to take vitamin D. But definitely double up on your D3, because this will keep your immune system stronger than anything out there. So again, if you need a product, you can go to that gethealthy.shop. This is on there as well. I prefer the liquid. It goes twice as long, and it tastes like orange, so it's great. But you can buy it in a drugstore as well. Just make sure it doesn't have a ton of fillers. So those were the things that I actually, in my quick little minute, when I was like, oh, I'm going to be on the show, were the things that I came up with of really prepping for the holidays, planning, writing things down, planning on what you're bringing to each party. You guys don't decide 5 minutes before you're supposed to leave, or 20 minutes before. I said, write it in your calendar so you can pre-plan. So when you're buying your groceries for that week, you can make sure that you have the ingredients. Here's the thing. This is a great time of the year to use DoorDash, Instacart, those type of things. Mm-hmm. Tonight, I needed a few groceries. I was at the nail shop taking care of myself. I ordered some groceries. So when I came home, they were already here. So this is a perfect time of year to use those services that are available to us to make our life a little simpler and a little stress-free.
Oh, it'll definitely be stress-free if you're using something like Instacart, because you don't have to go and face the mobs in the stores a few days before, before Thanksgiving, or a few days before Christmas or Hanukkah or the office parties or whatever, because they're going to be mobbed.
And the same thing goes for shopping. You guys, if you can do anything online, there's a lot of online shopping now. I'm not saying don't go out and visit your local stores. If you have if you need to go out to the stores, try to go when there aren't as many people. I said, my girlfriend's here from Chicago. We went shopping on Saturday. Oh my goodness, the hustle and bustle is already out there. I was surprised at how many people were already at the mall. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, maybe take a personal day in the morning one day and go shopping when there's not as many people, so you can get a parking spot so you're not going through that chaos. Now's the time to take a little PTO for yourself and go do the things that you need to do for your family. You can easily have packages wrapped if you're not a wrapper, whether that's music or wrapping presents. You can hire somebody to do both. They'll come sing for you and they'll come wrap your presents. But
if you're in a shopping mall buying gifts, they usually have the gift wrapper.
The gift wrapping, and oftentimes that goes to a good cause, whether it's something like, the Boys and Girls Club or the military. There's always a lot of good causes that are actually out there doing gift wrapping for people. Oftentimes it's schools, depending on where you live in the malls, and those kids are benefiting for, band and cheerleading and those type of things as well. And it's not very expensive to have somebody wrap your presents. And so that will cut back on your time as well. So staying out of the overwhelm, and I think that goes back to pre-planning, of what do I need and when, And so you don't have that last minute, oh my goodness, I don't have an extra present for. This is also a great time to maybe go to your local candy store and buy a couple boxes. You're never going to hear me say this any other time of the year. I love C's candy. That's my favorite. So if anybody wants to buy me a present, that's a great present for me. Because
What's your favorite flavor?
What?
What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, I don't have a favorite. They're all good. And so I wish I could tell you I had a favorite. I like the nuts and cheese more than, but now's the time that go when you stop at a candy store, get a couple boxes of candy. If you see a pretty scarf somewhere, pick up an extra scarf. I know that sounds funny, but pick up an extra scarf or a candle or, a couple little things or I'm making trail mix for our neighbors this year.
Oh,
so
nice.
In ball jars. And so I'm making a chai spice trail mix for everybody. And so I'm just using ball jars and ribbon. So I already have on my list, need to buy ribbon, right? I already have the ball jars I've purchased. So now I just have to buy the ribbons and tags. So make a list of the things that you need and then have a few extra gifts on hand in case you do forget to buy something or in case you do get invited to an extra gift. If it's a white elephant, you guys, I promise you have a white elephant gift in your house that you can give somebody, so
white elephant from last year that you can re-gift this year. And that's in my case when I always end up with the chocolates.
Just make sure
strategic on that one.
Just make sure it's not the same person's house. So we had a running joke at my house for years. We did a big Christmas event every year. And sometimes we would have a casino night or sometimes we would have, like we had Santa come. We had all kinds of things like for this I had a big house and we would have this big party. And we always did a white elephant exchange. Well, it was so funny. We had a pair of slippers that were both left feet that came back to that party 3 or 4 times. Whoever won it would bring it back the next year. And so always have a white elephant gift in mind that you have something in your house, you guys, that you can bring for a white elephant gift. So have something like that. Like think about it now. Like what is that thing that you can bring if somebody said, hey, I'm invited to a white elephant gift party. Have something silly that you can bring on hand and already have it in a bag,
Absolutely.
Because if you don't use it this year, I guarantee you'll get invited to a party next year and you can always stash it away to next year. But always have a couple little things because guess what? Somebody always comes to an event and you always need 1 or 2 extra little things. And the other thing is to be mindful of your budget. So this is a season of giving. This is a season that we want to make everybody happy. This is a season but don't make yourself unhappy by going over budget. So whether you spend $5 on a gift or you spend $20 on a gift or you spend $500 on a gift, give what you can afford to give. So there's no logical sense of going into debt for the holidays. Come January, you're going to be so stressed out and so sick that it won't be worth what you did a month ago. So I don't want you guys, feeling ill or sick or guilt or emotions bring up illness. We don't need any of that during the holidays or after the holidays. So I want you to be super healthy, prioritize your sleep, prioritize your month, your next 6 weeks, write everything down, take your D3, get some bind off my website. So if in case you eat something or split a bottle with somebody. So, just take care of yourselves.
And then the other thing, because it is the season of giving, is that don't forget the charities that are out there that if you support them once a year, especially if you're out and you're buying gifts or something, throw in an extra can of food or something like that, especially ones with the pop tops. Because I was actually reading something from a food bank one time. They says, people bring in cans, but do the people that the food's going to have can openers? Or if you're going to bring in a turkey, what are they going to roast it in? Do they even have a roasting dish? So when you're out there thinking of things like that, just be mindful of they may not have the tools in which to cook these things with or open these things. So think of things like that and make just like little packets or something or little packages.
And this is a great time to volunteer.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that need help. There's a lot of people. I usually take on donating for, like where they have angel trees or, a
Mhm.
church or wherever people, have kids that need presents that
Toys
don't
for
have
Tots
it.
is a great one.
Yeah, exactly. So I know Marines do their thing every year, and you can drop them off at fire departments. So there's so many different organizations that are taking care of the kids out there and the families out there that don't have a lot. So just be mindful of that. Your like I said, your Aunt Margaret probably doesn't need a $25, bubble bath. Give her something for $10 as a little thank you, and as a little gift of something that she might use, and take that other $15 and give it towards somebody that is really in need. So
And support mom and pop stores too. Like if you've got a local like farmers market where they get a lot of artisans in there with their arts and crafts at this time of the year, go support them rather than the big box stores. And
yeah,
that's one thing that I like to do is do that. And if I know of somebody who does some sort of craft that I can't do, but I like their product, I'm going to go to them and say, hey, can I get some da-da-da done? And I'm prepared to pay, because they're usually giving it away. And I'm like, no, I want to pay you for this.
yeah,
So,
that's a great thing too.
Yeah, support friends and family that have those little stores that do that crafty stuff, and say, hey, look, I'm looking for a gift for this. Can you make me this? And I'll pay you for it.
And I learned this the hard way when I was young. Don't adopt animals for other people.
Yes, do not do that.
And so I had the biggest,
unless discussed beforehand.
Exactly. I really thought somebody wanted a puppy, and I thought it would be a great thing for an elderly woman who kept saying she wanted a puppy. Little did I think at the time, all the things of, did she have the money to afford to pay for the puppy and to pay for the food and to do the grooming and things that come with a dog? So did she need a companion? Probably, but don't adopt a pet for somebody else.
Unless it has been pre-discussed with that person beforehand.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so there went my thing of being young in 20s and thinking I was doing something great, and really created more of a headache for somebody without thinking, you guys. Without thinking. I just was young. I was 20. I didn't have a brain yet. I was still developing. So I think those are all my tips of how to stay healthy during the holidays.
That's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of that. You've got a lot packed into that 37 minutes, girl.
Darn it, I'm going to write this list and we're going to get through it no matter what.
But the cool part is that there's a lot of advice in there that people can use, even if they're not really watching what they eat or something, being mindful of what they're eating. And the thing that I like about the holiday times is that when you're sitting down to a meal, you're not sitting down to eat, because people will sit down and no, you're sitting down to dine. And when you're sitting to dine, you tend to not eat as much as you normally would. Yeah. Because when you're dining, you're not scarfing the food down at the normal rate. You're sitting there and you're chatting with other people while you eat. So it's that, what is it? Visit the people, not the food. It's that's what you're doing at the table. You're visiting with people at the table and not the food. And that way too, you're going to know when you're satisfied more. And you can always go back for seconds later. If you're there for the whole day, if you're in my house and it's Thanksgiving and you're there for the whole day, leftovers are getting put out for dinner.
Well, I can tell you, when I was a kid, I actually loved doing dishes. And the reason I loved doing dishes is everybody would go into the living room, because we didn't have these great rooms where the living room and kitchens were together. Mm-hmm. But everybody would go into the living room, which meant that I got to eat some extra leftovers. So it really wasn't about doing the dishes always. It was always like I could have a couple extra bites of something as I was putting food away. So I was food motivated even as a kid, of loving to be in the kitchen, loving to cook, loving to, even clean up the things. But the cleanup was more about the extra eating.
Yeah. And, you don't need to, like you said, you've got to get to that satisfaction point. And if you're sitting there dining, you will get to that satisfaction point, because you'll suddenly realize that, oh, I'm actually not really hungry. Yeah. I don't need that second serving of mashed potatoes with gravy, or that second serving of stuffing. Not that I can eat stuffing anyway, unless I make it, because then it won't have onions in it. And it'll be made with gluten-free bread. Not that they would. But I will tell you this, I make a good mac and cheese with no dairy and no gluten.
Nice.
And my youngest stepson one time was over for dinner, and I had made this mac and cheese with no dairy, no gluten. It was completely gluten-free, completely dairy-free. And he had 3 helpings of it. And on the 3rd helping, we told him that there was no dairy in there and no gluten in there. So we had used spelt macaroni, and I had used
nutritional yeast.
Sorry?
Did you use nutritional yeast?
No, I used what did I use for the cheese? I used the tofu cheese.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And made it all up and everything else. And I used I can't remember what I used to make the roux with, but it wasn't flour. Well, it wasn't gluten flour, regular flour. It was one of the other ones, like actually no, I used arrowroot.
Arrowroot is a great, you guys, if you're making gravy, arrowroot is a great thickener. And then you don't have to worry about if you have any gluten-free guests, they can still have gravy. So,
yeah,
and it's
a lot of gravy is flour and water and the juices.
Yeah, and it's pretty inexpensive as well. So if you do know you have somebody in your family, weird like me, that is gluten-free, you know, oftentimes they won't have gravy because they know that there's often flour in it. So arrowroot is a great substitute.
I made the cheese sauce with arrowroot.
There you go.
Sounds and good. I used almond milk and the tofu cheese to make the sauce, and then just put some seasonings in there. And then I used the spelt macaroni, and it turned out really, really good.
There you go. That's great. So don't be afraid to try new things during the holidays, you guys.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There are ways to make comfort foods in a way that everybody can enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yes. So there's a lot of different recipes out there for it. So Nicole, thank you again, my love. I mean, you are just awesome with the information that you can come up with. I'm like, and I've put into the comments, we've got the bind link directly to the bind. You got a link directly to the REM patches, which are 100% drug and supplement free. They're just these ridges that are on a patch, and your skin recognizes the pattern and sends it off to the brain to do resets. But the REMs ones, I can tell you from personal use, they will knock you out. If you have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you get back into bed and boom, you're out again. You're not laying there tossing and turning trying to get back to sleep. It helps you get back to sleep a lot faster. So but with that, Nicole, thank you so much. Have a super fantastic, sparkling, happy Thanksgiving.
And we'll see you before the holidays. We'll see you We'll see you before Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, all of that. So
I don't even know what date Hanukkah starts this year. I haven't even looked.
I think it's overlapping with Christmas this year. I haven't looked either. So again, I'm just starting into my holiday season, and we have, custody issues with kids. So we're balancing out, like this weekend, we're doing this with some grandkids, and this we're doing with this grandkid, and balancing out Sam's family and our family. So, I just literally started bringing out the calendar yesterday going, what are we doing each weekend? Because every weekend is a little busy, and I'm actually going away for the weekend of like the 8th through the whatever it is, couple days. I'm actually going to Utah to to go see my dear friends that I collaborate with, my doctor that I collaborate with.
Cool.
I'm writing a cookbook for a supplement company. I'll be out visiting them as well. And so it will be kind of business, Christmas dinner. The one night we're going to have a celebration dinner. And, so I have that weekend blocked out. So, I'm just now putting my calendar together so it all aligns and there's no stress, and we know what we're doing each weekend or during the course. And even for Thanksgiving this year, we're doing something a little different. So I'm really looking forward to Thanksgiving. We're going to spend Thanksgiving with Sam's sister and that side of the family. And then the day after, our son is going to be here from the Army. So we have all the kids coming together on Friday. So I'm not cooking Thanksgiving dinner until Friday at our house. So
yay.
So it will be a new tradition, a new something fun. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. So again, pre-plan, don't overstress yourself out, plan your sleep, watch some fun movies, do some things that bring you joy. It's not just about, giving to everybody else. Take care of yourself too.
Yep. And Hanukkah starts at nightfall on the 7th and ends at nightfall on the 15th of December.
Of when?
That goes from the 7th to the 15th. So it starts at nightfall on the 7th and goes to the nightfall on the 15th.
So it's early this year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah. It goes over my birthday this year.
There you go. All right. Well, we will see you on the, I will see you. Helen is on here every night, bringing you guest information, fun, all the things that she does, which is so amazing. But I will be back on the 12th. So I usually am here the second Tuesday of every month. So if you have any health questions, if you have anything burning desire that you want to know, let Helen know. You can let me know on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any health questions that you have. Maybe one night we'll actually do a Q&A.
That would be cool. So everybody submit their questions and we'll do a Q&A. We could do that for next month.
Let's do that in January. That'd be a great thing.
Start the new year off.
Yeah. Yeah, start the new year off. Okay. So I think we'll maybe do something a little fun for the holidays as well.
Yeah.
So
maybe
my
Santa hat.
If Helen,
I have a sparkly Santa hat.
If Helen will let me, I would love to do a little cooking demo for you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do that.
All right. So
I'm all out for changing things up. All she's got to do is turn her laptop around. She's actually sitting at the counter at her island in her kitchen. So I have been there. I have seen her set up there, and it's amazing. And her kitchen is gorgeous. It is stunning.
So I would love to whip something up and give you a couple recipes and show you some magic that happens in what I call the Lanni Love Shack. That's what we call our house. And so I would love to show you maybe a couple simple things that you can do for the holidays that would be fun and easy and make it easy for Helen, where she can just enjoy for the evening. That would.
I'm going to be there with comments going, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? What's that? Do you have a holiday eggnog that doesn't have dairy in it?
Do I have a what?
A holiday eggnog that with no dairy.
No, but that doesn't mean no, but that doesn't mean I won't have one between now and then. I might have a holiday drink for you guys. I don't guarantee it will be eggnog, but if you want a holiday drink, I might do that for you. So,
I love eggnog.
Do you?
Yes, I do. And I suffer and I like it nice and creamy and put a little bit of nutmeg on top. And
I will see what I can conjure up, but I've been.
And then the next day I pay for it, but it's one of those things that I absolutely love the flavor of. And if I can find a really good non-dairy one, especially one that I can make, then I'm happy to do that.
I will do my best. And by the way, I'm just going to throw it out there that eggs are not dairy. And so are the eggs in eggnog okay?
Yeah. Okay. It's just the dairy pot side of the eggnog that I have the issue, and the sugar. The dairy and the sugar.
Perfect. I will see what I can conjure up, but I will make a couple little things for Christmas in 30, 45 minutes, or not for Christmas, for the holidays. It could be for New Year's. You never know what I might come up with. And so I would love to do a mini cooking demo for you. And also, if you want some yummy, healthy recipes, especially during the holidays, you can go to my website at helpyougethealthy.com and go to recipes. And I think right now for November, we have October's recipes are fantastic. I always put 3 new recipes on there. November's are a turkey soup, great thing to do with your leftovers. So there is a turkey soup. There is a sauteed persimmons, which are a great side dish, which most people haven't even had a persimmon. So that's something fun and colorful and yummy. And the third one is mashed parsnips, because there are a lot of people, I haven't had
parsnips in eons.
There are a lot of people that can't have potatoes, as that just sounds awful.
So which website is that one on the recipes on?
That is on helpyougethealthy.com.
Help You Get Healthy.
And so those are the 3 recipes that are in for November, and then December's will be fun as well.
I love peppermint bark.
I'll make a note. Poof, I'll make a note. Just this random Helen says, I love peppermint bark. Well, I love C's candy. So there you go. We each have our little guilty pleasures.
For recipes, go to, there we go. That one's now going into the comments as well.
Awesome.
Yes. So thank you again, Nicole. We are out of here for tonight.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks for having me.
Happy
Thanks for everybody for listening.
Yes, have a happy Thanksgiving next week because we won't see you back till December.
Thank you.
And for everybody else out there, we will be back online tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konara.